Stop right now and ask yourself this. Do you really know what she wants from you? Not the words she says, not the promises she whispers when she's smiling, but the truth hidden deep behind her eyes, the pull in her heart she doesn't even admit to herself. Most men think they understand women, but they are blind to the signals that matter. You've been told to just listen or be kind, but the truth is much sharper, much darker, and far more revealing. There are 3 questions, 3 simple triggers that, if asked in the right way, will make her heart skip, her mind twist, and her loyalty to you grow deeper than you ever imagined. And most men never ask them because they're afraid of the answer. Think about the last time a woman left you confused. She said one thing but acted in the opposite way. She smiled and flirted, yet pulled away when you tried to get closer. She laughed at your jokes but didn't reach out for days. That confusion, that uncertainty, that's her testing you unconsciously. But only the men who understand her mind can see it. These 3 questions cut through the confusion like a scalpel, exposing her feelings, her desires, her fears, and yes, the attraction she can't hide, even if she tried. Here's the thing most men miss. Women don't crave perfect men. They don't want someone who always knows the right thing to say. They don't need a hero. What they crave, what truly captivates them, is a man who sees them, not just the face they show to the world. A man who can reach past the mask, past the rehearsed answers, and touch the part of her that even she is afraid to reveal. And these questions, they act like keys. They unlock doors that other men never even knew existed. But you must ask them carefully. Timing is everything. Tone, body language, and your energy all communicate more than the words themselves. When you ask these questions, she will feel your confidence. She will feel your curiosity, not as weakness or neediness, but as intelligence and power. That combination, irresistible. You're stepping into a space most men are too afraid to enter, the space where a woman's attraction deepens, not because you chase it, but because you allow it to emerge naturally. Imagine this. She's sitting across from you, laughing lightly, yet there's a spark in her eyes. You ask the first question, not harshly, not teasingly, but with calm certainty. She freezes for a moment, not because she's scared, but because something inside her just recognized you as different. You're not like the others who asked for favors, who begged for attention, who measured love in words instead of feeling. She senses that you understand her complexity without needing explanations. And suddenly, the attraction that was quiet, almost hidden, begins to surface. And here's the dangerous part for her, and the exciting part for you. These questions reveal more than you want. They show her fears, her unspoken needs, and the parts of her that are ready to give herself completely, but only if you show the awareness to handle it. Most men stumble here. They hear the answers and panic because they're not prepared to meet a woman's raw truth. But you're learning. You're stepping into a level of connection that's rare. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which questions to ask, how to ask them, and why they ignite a desire that's more powerful than any words you've ever used. You'll see her differently, and she'll see you differently. Not the man she flirts with casually, not the man who waits for her calls, but the man who penetrates the layers she keeps hidden even from herself. And make no mistake, that man commands attention. That man commands respect. That man commands attraction she can't resist. Now, before I move on, ask yourself this quietly. Are you ready to see her truth, even the parts that scare you? Because the next step will change the way she responds to you forever. You need to understand something most men have never realized. A woman's attraction doesn't come from compliments, gifts, or effort. It comes from emotional exposure, the feeling that you see something inside her that the world ignores. And the first question I'm about to give you forces her to reveal the part of herself she keeps tucked away behind her confidence, her charm, and her carefully maintained independence. When you ask this question, you don't just make her think, you make her feel. And when a woman feels something around you that she doesn't feel with other men, that's when attraction shifts from casual to meaningful, from uncertain to undeniable. The first question is simple, yet it cuts deeper than you expect. What do you wish people understood about you? Not, what do you like? Not, what's your favorite memory? Not, what are you looking for? No. This question slides past the surface and taps into the part of her she rarely expresses. Because every woman, every person, carries a truth that's misunderstood, overlooked, or unspoken. When you ask this, you're not flirting. You're not performing. You're giving her something rare, the chance to be seen without judgment. And when you give a woman that space, her guard lowers almost instantly. Imagine you're sitting with her. Maybe it's a date, maybe you're just talking, maybe you've known each other for months. You ask the question calmly, not like an interrogation, but like a man who genuinely wants to understand. In that moment, watch her eyes. They soften, they shift. She pauses, not because she's confused, but because she's not used to a man who sees beyond the version of herself she presents to the world. You've already separated yourself from the crowd of men who only notice her beauty, or her confidence, or her humor. You just showed interest in her inner world, and that is where true attraction is born. She'll answer slowly at first. She might talk about feeling overlooked. She might talk about being stronger than people think. She might share something vulnerable, something she's carried for years. But whatever she says, understand this. She's telling you more than her words. She's showing you where she hides her insecurities. She's showing you how she wants to be loved. She's revealing her emotional blueprint without realizing she's revealing it. And most men will never see that side of her because they never think to ask. But here's where the real power lies. When she opens up even a little, she unconsciously connects that emotional release to you. You become the man who listens without pressure, without ego, without judgment. You become the man who understands her language, even when she doesn't speak it clearly. And that makes you rare. That makes you memorable. That makes you the kind of man her heart pays attention to, even if she tries to hide it. And this is what you must remember. Women are not attracted to emptiness. They're not drawn to a blank slate. They're drawn to the man who awakens something inside them, the man who asks the questions that linger in their mind long after the conversation ends. This question does that. It plants a seed, soft, subtle, but powerful. She will think about it later. She will replay the moment. She will wonder why you asked it. She will wonder why she answered so honestly, and without even realizing it, she'll begin to associate you with emotional depth, safety, and connection. This is not manipulation. This is awareness. This is presence. This is understanding the psychology of connection that most men ignore. The first question opens her heart. The next question will test her desire. But ask yourself honestly right now, are you prepared for a woman to reveal more than you expect? Because if you are, then what comes next will change everything. There's a moment in every connection where a woman asks herself a silent question. Is this man different, or is he just pretending to be? And whether she realizes it or not, her answer determines how deeply she lets herself fall for you. That's why the second question you must ask cuts right into the center of her emotional instinct. This question exposes her desires, but more importantly, it exposes her standards. Most men never ask it because they're afraid it will make them look insecure. But in reality, it does the exact opposite. It shows her your confidence. It shows her your clarity. It shows her that you choose your connections with intention, not desperation. The question is this: what kind of presence makes you feel safe around a man? Not safe physically, safe emotionally, safe to speak, safe to feel, safe to be herself without editing her personality to avoid judgment. When you ask this, you're not asking how to please her, you're asking how she responds to masculine energy. And believe me, a woman's reaction to masculine presence tells you more about her than weeks of small talk ever could. Watch what happens when you ask it. She'll inhale sharply, just a little. Her shoulders may drop, her eyes will shift, not away from you, but deeper into herself. You've just touched the part of her that remembers every time she felt unheard, unseen, or unprotected in past relationships. She's not used to this question because most men are too busy trying to impress her, but you're not trying. You're observing, you're analyzing, you're inviting her to show you what resonates with her on an instinctive level. And here's where the psychological shift takes place. When she starts describing what makes her feel safe, respect, calmness, consistency, emotional steadiness, she's not just listing qualities. She's revealing how she wants to be loved without telling you directly. She's showing you where past men failed her. She's showing you what she craves in a connection. She's opening the door to the part of her she never expresses casually, the part that only comes out when she senses masculine depth. Most men listen to her words. You must listen to her patterns. If she says she feels safe around men who are patient, she's been with someone impatient. If she says she values honesty, someone lied to her. If she says she needs a calm presence, she's been surrounded by emotional chaos. By answering your question, she is indirectly showing her emotional wounds, wounds she doesn't want to repeat. And she'll feel the shift in your presence as you absorb what she's saying without rushing to respond or prove anything. That moment builds trust. That moment builds connection. That moment builds attraction that feels grounded, not forced. And something else happens too, something subtle, something primal. She begins imagining you through the filters she just described. She wonders whether you're the man who can create that environment. She starts feeling drawn to you in a quiet, magnetic way. She feels her guard soften without you pressuring her. She feels her mind opening and her instincts leaning toward you because you're showing emotional intelligence, a trait more powerful than looks, status, or charm. Combined, women don't fall for men who chase them. They fall for men who understand them, men who ask questions that tap into their emotional architecture. Men who are brave enough to explore their inner world without flinching. And that's why this question is so powerful. It doesn't just reveal who she is, it reveals who she believes you are if her answer grows vulnerable, detailed, personal. She already feels a connection. If her answer is guarded or vague, she's still evaluating you. Either way, you gain clarity, and clarity is power. But the third question, that one doesn't just reveal her desires or her wounds. It exposes her intentions. It shows you exactly where she stands with you, and most men will never have the courage to ask it. The real question now is, do you? There is a moment in every conversation where the energy between you and a woman shifts, where her mind stops analyzing you and her emotions start responding to you. The third question I'm about to give you creates that shift instantly, not because it's romantic, not because it's dramatic, but because it forces her to confront something she rarely admits, even to herself. And when a woman confronts her truth in front of you, attraction deepens in a way that feels natural, inevitable, and unforgettable. The question is this: what do you look for in a connection that you don't tell people about? Not what she wants in a relationship, not what she expects from a partner, not what she claims on the surface. This question targets the silent desires, the ones she hides because she fears being judged, misunderstood, or dismissed. Every woman carries a private list, the qualities she wants but doesn't say out loud, the parts of a connection that matter to her deeply but feel too vulnerable to reveal to just anyone. When you ask this, you're opening a doorway into her unfiltered self. You're giving her permission to stop performing and start being real. And what's fascinating is this: she won't answer immediately. She'll pause, she'll breathe, she'll try to decide whether she can trust you with the truth. That hesitation is the exact moment her attraction is forming. She's not thinking about your looks, your status, or your charm anymore. She's thinking about emotional safety, about authenticity, about whether you're the kind of man who actually understands women on a level most men never reach. When she finally speaks, she'll reveal things she's never said to other men. She may admit she needs consistency, or that she falls for men who show subtle leadership, or that she wants emotional intimacy, but is afraid of giving too much. Sometimes she'll reveal fears. Fear of being played, fear of being misunderstood, fear of opening up too fast. Whatever she says, understand this: She is handing you the blueprint to her emotional attraction, and she doesn't do that for just anyone. But here's where this question becomes even more powerful. As she talks, she's not just describing what she wants, she's comparing you to it in real time. She's listening to her own words and feeling whether you match the energy she's describing. If you do, she'll feel drawn to you instinctively. If you don't, she'll sense the disconnect. But the beauty of this moment is that you aren't performing. You're observing. You're letting her reveal herself while you maintain calm, confident presence. Women are emotionally intuitive. They can feel authenticity. They can feel when a man is stable, grounded, and intentional. And when you ask a question like this, one that reveals her private desires, you send a message without saying it directly. You're not afraid of emotional depth. You're not afraid of connection. You're not afraid of truth. And that makes you stand out more than anything else. Most men want answers without giving a woman the space to express herself. You're doing the opposite. You're creating space. You're guiding her into emotional honesty with a single, powerful question. And that makes her feel something very specific, something she cannot ignore. She feels understood. And here's the part you must pay attention to. A woman who feels understood becomes more open, more expressive, more genuine. She leans closer. Her eyes soften. Her voice slows. Her guard drops, not because you pushed, but because you allowed it. This is where attraction becomes deeper than physical chemistry. It becomes connection. It becomes alignment. It becomes something she doesn't want to lose. But the final section ahead isn't about questions anymore. It's about truth. The truth of what her answers reveal about you, and what you need to understand before you use any of this with real women. The final part will tie everything together, and it will change the way you approach connection forever. Now that you've heard the 3 questions, there's something you need to understand, something deeper than attraction, deeper than connection, deeper than anything a woman will ever tell you directly. These questions aren't powerful because they expose her. They're powerful because they expose you. Every time you ask a woman something meaningful, something that cuts past the surface, something that requires honesty rather than performance, she's not just answering the question, she's evaluating the man who asked it. She's watching how you listen, how you react, how your energy shifts, and she's asking herself silently, can I trust him with the parts of me I don't show the world? That is the real core of attraction, not looks, not money, not charm, not smooth lines or strategies. It's emotional maturity. It's the ability to hold space for her without losing yourself. It's the strength to hear her truth without feeling threatened, insecure, or overwhelmed. Most men fail here, not because they're bad men, but because they never learned how to stay grounded when a woman reveals something vulnerable. They rush to fix. They talk over her, they panic, they try to prove something. They turn the moment into pressure instead of presence. The reason these questions work isn't because they're magical. It's because they force you to slow down. They require you to listen. They require you to see her as a human before you see her as a potential partner, and that alone separates you from 90% of men she has ever encountered. Women are used to being pursued, admired, or desired. They're not used to being understood. When a woman feels understood, her entire behavior shifts. She becomes softer, more open, more trusting. She invests more. She reaches out more. She chooses differently, because now she's not reacting to the surface version of you. She's responding to the man behind the mask. But here's the truth you must accept. These questions only work if you're honest enough to handle the answers. If she tells you she values calmness, but you live in chaos, be honest with yourself. If she tells you she needs consistency, but you struggle to follow through, don't pretend. If she opens up about what she's afraid of, what she wants, what she hides, what she craves, you must stand steady, not perfect, not heroic, just steady, because a woman doesn't fall for the man who has everything figured out. She falls for the man who is emotionally aware, emotionally present, and emotionally real. You're not learning tricks. You're learning depth. You're learning connection. You're learning how to speak to the part of a woman that modern dating often ignores. And if you use these questions with intention and integrity, you will start noticing something that may shock you. Women will feel drawn to you in ways they can't explain. They'll open up faster. They'll trust more deeply. They'll see you not just as a man, but as a presence. Grounded, stable, and rare. And maybe that's the whole point. You don't need to chase women. You don't need to compete with other men. You don't need to pretend to be anything you're not. You just need to show up as a man who sees beyond the obvious, who listens beyond the words, and who connects beyond the surface. That's the kind of man a woman remembers. That's the kind of man she chooses. That's the kind of man she doesn't want to lose. Now let me ask you something personal. If a woman opened up to you fully, without filters, without holding anything back, are you the man who could handle her truth? Or would it scare you? Comment your honest answer below. Your story might help another man right now. And if this video opened your eyes, like this video, subscribe for more powerful truths, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this tonight.